Marvelous.
I did it last time.
Welcome to the distinguished Angel and the Wiz program of probably very little significant value, but here for you anyway. Thought I'd be a little, you know.
Taken for granted, never ever wonder.
Last week's topic started off with Sarah Palin, ended up with how Barack Obama is a criminal.
Right.
Just to recap.
Right. I'm not going to go there again
Okay.
this week because I think we established. And we also talked about the unintended consequences of giving people
Yes.
stuff. Okay, but what I wanted to say was, and we also talked about the fact we were going to go see the Undefeated film and then come back and talk
Yes.
about it here. Okay, now, I wanted to say this. Sarah Palin is probably going to, this is my opinion, again, my opinion. I endorsed her on this show weeks ago, and I'm voting for her, whether she runs or not. But my guess is, when she stepped down as governor, she had already made up her mind, subject to whatever would come, that she was going to run for president. Because she looked around and she saw what was going on. And I think
she's gonna have to do a lot of. She's gonna have to impress me a whole lot.
Well, I would
she's
say to
gonna
you,
have to
I
stop,
bet you the movie does.
She's gonna have to stop saying what the parties, the Republican or Tea
She
Party is
doesn't.
dictating. I
You're
think
going to
she still
find
is.
out. You're going to find
I
out.
think she still is.
No. She says what? No.
I
She
think she
says
still
what
is.
she says. They follow her.
No, I think
That's what exactly is
I think
happening.
She is saying what's been dictated to her.
Not at all. She's totally on her own. That's why the Republic. Why do you think the elites hate her? Why do you think you watch TV and they talk about her like she's not running, like she doesn't exist? Even Fox News, when they put up all the pictures of people running, they don't even put a picture up. You know, they
You
talk.
said
They
yourself she hadn't declared. How can you put that up?
What's that?
You said she hasn't declared yet. So how
No,
can
she
you put that
hasn't
up?
declared yet, but they act like she's not going to, and they keep saying that she's not going
Maybe
to, and
she's
it is.
not going to.
That's
What
right.
if
Maybe
she-
she's not going to.
What
but my
if she
guess
doesn't?
is.
You're still going to vote for her anyway. You're going to write that in?
Oh, I'm writing her in, but I think what's going to happen is there's a point, a legal point, where she has to be in by that point. This is the media that wanted her in now, so
Right.
they could attack her all this time. She's walking to her own drum. She got in that bus and she went up the East Coast, and they chased her in their cars. We had to listen to them cry because she wouldn't tell us where she's going next. Oh, boo-hoo. Hey, you're supposed to be a news guy. You're supposed to be a reporter. You want to find out. If you say that she's stupid and she's so unimportant,
I think
why
she
are
should
you
come to
chasing her?
Disney World.
Why are you chasing?
You know what I think would be great? If she came to Disney World and sat in the Hall of Presidents.
I cannot tell you.
If she sat in the Hall of Presidents and watched that show, would you sit in that show?
And watch it. I
And
want to
watch
go
it.
to see it when she's there. I want to
Let me
go.
tell you,
I want to go
see,
to the Hall of
here's your
Presidents and watch
mentality.
her stand up and say, "Sarah Palin."
Here's your mentality, is that you think that Disney World is going to allow any president to inflict their political opinions about anything
What are you talking
in that
about?
show. Is that, I mean, why would you not want to go? Just
Let-
because, number one, it's an audio animatronic.
It is. It is.
Well, why wouldn't you want to go and hear him speak?
Because
about,
I don't need to hear him speak because he lies.
Oh,
Everything
he
he
lies about
says, he
diversity
lies.
in this country?
That's right, because he
Right,
doesn't
'cause
care about
we're
diversity
not
in this country.
diverse.
You know why? You know why he doesn't care about
It's an
diversity in this
audio
country?
animatronic.
I know. Well, I have
You
never
don't
heard
think
what he
that-
said.
You don't, well, of
Have
course
you ever
haven't.
heard it?
I have.
Okay, if he talks about diversity, you know what he's talking about? He's talking about pushing the white people down so that the minorities can come up. That is not diversity.
No, that's called equality.
No, it's not. You don't push somebody else down to bring somebody else up. You bring the other people up. You don't push other people
but
down.
nobody's pushing anybody down.
That's not true. That's you can, and his own words. Some people will have to step out of the way so other people can have an opportunity. That is not America. America is you raise the people up. You don't bring other people down.
Well,
and then that's
how are we
exactly what this
supposed
guy
to
has
raise
done.
people up when we have idiots running the country making $1 billion a year, and not saying maybe I should pay more taxes to help out those who can't make enough.
Princess,
Huh?
The people
Maybe
that have the most
those are
money
the ones that need to
pay
get out
the
of the way.
most tax. The millionaires
Then how come-
pay
then how
almost
come-
50% of the tax in
Then
this
how
country.
come we
Do you
keep
know
giving them
that?
tax breaks?
Because they're already paying more than they should have to. 50% of the people in this
If you
country
make-
don't pay taxes. 50% of the people in America don't pay taxes. Why don't they pay taxes? You think I want to pay them?
Make $1 million a year,
Right.
you should be able to live without 500,000. What is your
But that's
lifestyle
not
like
true.
when you make $1 million a year?
Okay, now, this is an educational moment. Because most people can, but you're not listening.
I'm listening.
And you're smart enough to get what I'm about to say.
Okay, so say it.
Okay. Because most people that make that money and file their tax returns like that are not individuals like you and me that have a job. They are individuals that are self-employed. Okay? And that big number that comes in as their income is really the income of the business. That business pays a lot of money out to support a lot of people. They don't take that $1 million and keep it. The business
No,
makes
you're
me
right.
now hear me out.
Julia
The-
Roberts'
the-
$1 million income has to support the 6 maids that she has and her entire entourage. Woman, do
that,
your own makeup.
look it. That is a cheap shot. I'm trying to educate you about something that's true. Most people that make that money like that are small businesses. And that big sum that comes in that Obama sees because he's ignorant, that's a lot of money. Wow. Well, go after George Soros if you want to go.
I'm
If you
not
want to go
talking
after,
about
he's the guy that's talking about
businesses.
tax the wealthy. What they are not telling you is it's not people that are wealthy. These are companies, and they hire people, and they pay them money, and they pay them benefits. And the owner of the company gets about 2 or 3% of that is profit.
Okay, so what about the CEOs that make 6 figures?
That's in a giant corporation, and they get paid that money because they have expertise that these people want. Don't look at me.
So
I may not think
they
they're
can
worth
live
it,
with a couple
but
Maybe-
people on the board,
Maybe we
they
could
think
fix
they're
the
worth it.
educational system if we taxed the wealthy a little bit more and gave that money to education.
Maybe we could make the
and
educational
you know
system
what
a
those
lot.
people do? They have so little faith in the public education that they send their kids to private schools.
Can I tell you something? You could fix the educational system if you took the money that the unions take and put it back into the educational system. If you took the money
could.
that the administrators make and give it to the teachers. That's the problem with the educational. We pay more per capita than any other school in any other country, and we get Stugats for it because of the way the money's spent. It's spent with administrators and school boards. I mean, when you got an administrator that's making $500,000 or $600,000 a year, a superintendent, that's nuts.
I agree. Do you know my superintendent didn't took a pay cut?
Well, he's the one. She's the one.
I was pretty impressed by her.
Okay, but there's not enough of that.
No, there's not.
And you got and the unions that take all of this money, and as soon as they get and they start crying about I mean, and then they jump all of their money, the kids.
I will tell you, though, that the unions, yes, the unions take a lot of money, and I know we've had this conversation before. The unions and the Democrats, yada 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 yada, but it's the unions that are defending the helpless. And what I mean by helpless,
they're not.
No, listen, I mean the teachers. I can't tell you now how children and parents are looking for ways. I had a friend of mine, male teacher, had a female student accuse him of sexual harassment.
Right.
Flat out accused him.
Right.
And he did not do it.
Right.
And if it wasn't for the union
Right.
and the lawyers that would get involved,
Right.
he'd be fired like that.
Okay, and now let me share with you.
And he's a darn good teacher.
And let me share with you so that everybody understands where I'm coming from. Fine. They do some things good.
They do some
But
things
they
good.
take a preponderance of
They
money
take a lot
for
of
what
money.
they do.
I don't
And they
disagree with
take
that.
way, and you know what?
I don't
They're about
disagree with
and
that.
let me share with you. They're about to go into cardiac arrest because Wisconsin went through, and what's coming in the future is the states are no longer going to be the collection agency for the unions. And that was one of the things that they got that they wanted. When they had all these public service employees, which I don't think people in government should be working for a union. I think they should be working for the government. And we've talked about this because we're not at the table. The congressman deals with the union, and the union gives money to the congressman to run. The union, he gives the union whatever they want. Where are we? We're the ones paying the bill. We're not at the table because these two are in bed together. But
Do you think they make pretty babies?
that's really a disgusting thought. Yuck. I hope they don't make pretty babies. Anyway, so I forgot the anyway. So the point that I wanted to try and make is that I think that at some point that there's going to be a legal point when she has to get in. I bet you the day that she announces, she gets donations to a degree that it is newsworthy. Because I know a lot of folks. I don't know a lot of folks, but I can tell by the places that I read that there are a lot of people just sitting here, just waiting. That's why. That's why. Well, that's why they say that we have a weak field.
I just have to say that she better have a darn good education plan.
She was at. Let me be very careful about this. I think you are going to be so surprised when you see this movie at the real person that Sarah Palin is that you will feel totally comfortable voting for her.
I will tell you that a lot of people have issues with Obama starting this what we call the Common Core for their instead of each state having their own individualized set of standards, which I always thought was absolutely ridiculous. So if the standards from one state didn't mesh up correctly with the standards of another state, then one child's getting a lesser of an education than the other. So he's commissioned somebody to, a panel of people to create the Common Core standards, which would be used across the United States. Each state can still have their own level of those, they have to incorporate all those Common Core standards. And you can.
This is for school.
This is for school.
For teaching.
For teaching.
And who decides what that is?
A panel of experts.
Yeah, here we go.
No, a panel of experts from
chosen
across
by
the field.
Obama.
Well, right, but.
1 second.
Well, okay.
Just 1 second. Pause. Is this pause?
No.
Let's pause.
That's pause.
Okay. Now.
So you were saying about the panel.
Yeah, the panel.
No,
it's going to be slanted.
No, it's not slanted. You can't slant the standards of mathematics.
No, that's true. That's math. You can't screw up math.
You can't screw up math. You can't screw up English. You can't screw up geography.
Yes, you know how you screw up math? You know how you screw up English? By the books that you choose to read. We're reading more about how Billy has 2 mommies. That's how they screw up English, by changing the criteria, the books that we read.
English literature. We're talking about the English language and writing and reading.
Fine.
And let me tell you, our children in this country have such a reading deficiency that if they're interested in reading books about 2 mommies, I am okay with that because that means that on their own accord, they picked up a book and they read it.
Well, I don't think that should be the criteria, but I know what you're saying. I accept the premise that at least they're reading something.
You can't screw up math standards. You can't screw up English standards. You can't screw up writing standards. You can't screw up history standards.
Yes, you can. Absolutely, yeah. And then don't go to history. All you were fine up till then. But in history...
Yeah, okay, so what are you going to say? You don't have to learn... You have to learn about the Civil War, but not World War I. You can't do that.
Yes, but it depends on what you teach and how you teach it.
Here's the problem with history, okay? There's too much of it. It's when you talk about American... No, listen.
But you have to learn about your country, how we were founded, what it was based on.
You give these students 9 months to learn about from what led to the founding of America to today. 9 months to learn a lot. That's not possible. So the teachers are...
They should learn about the founding, and then we don't need to learn everything in the middle.
If you want to correctly instruct American history,
right,
students have to spend 5 years in high school. Because you need to have 2 years of American history. Because you also can't send them out into the world without knowing about world history. And that would take 2 years. And then you have it would take more than 2 years.
Far better they learn about the founding.
About geography. And then you need to learn about...
more important that they learn
economics.
About the founding of the country, and they need to learn economics, and they need to learn government.
All I'm saying is,
those courses,
when I was in high school and I graduated in 1998, we were struggling to learn everything from the founding of America to President Reagan. Okay.
Right, and that's because you have to spend 17 weeks on the civil rights movement.
No, we didn't.
We
didn't.
I know. That's a great exaggeration.
And I graduated in 1998, and we only went up to 1980. That's when we stopped because we didn't have any more time.